among us does not admire the butterfly? They come in all shapes and are imbued with every hue, from the dullest drab to the most breathtakingly brilliant. They call every continent but Antarctica home, yet choose where they live very carefully. The fabled morpho thrives in the tropical American rainforests. Majestic birdwings are the world's largest butterflies. Some measure nearly a foot across. They can be found only in the jungles of the South Pacific. The small Mormon metalmark spends its life in the arid West and northern Mexico. Parnassians are best suited to cooler alpine meadows in North America, Europe, and Asia. Over the years, lepidopterists, explorers, and field biologists have cataloged more than 15,000 individual butterfly species. If we were able to see a new one every day, it would take us more than 40 years to see them all. But much as we'd like to take you on that trip, Butterflies for Beginners has a more realistic goal: to help you learn about and appreciate the butterflies that share your habitat, those that live near your home. The rarest butterflies can amaze us, of course. But there is something in even the most common butterflies that can fire our imaginations. The closer we look, the more we unlock their awesome secrets, the more they inspire in us awe. Look closely. To be lucky enough to glimpse a butterfly, any butterfly, is to witness an incredible success story. Simply to reach adulthood, every butterfly, like this Parnassian, must overcome long, life-threatening odds. Only with a lot of luck and following a series of spectacular metamorphic transformations does the butterfly come to winged maturity. It begins its perilous journey as an egg, as do all insects. The butterfly egg, seen here highly magnified, is a delicate package designed to protect the developing embryo. Each of the thousands of different butterflies found worldwide has its own personalized egg design. The adult female is responsible for the survival of her offspring. This Olympia marble lays her eggs on or near rock crests because it's the favorite food of her hungry spawn. If she doesn't, her young will almost certainly starve. Female monarchs lay their eggs on milkweed, which is the ideal diet for their caterpillars. Silvery blues select certain vetches on which to lay their eggs. To assure that its caterpillars are provided for, little yellows seek leaflets of cassia on which to lay their eggs. Most butterflies lay hundreds of eggs, expecting that at least a few will survive to become adult butterflies. When the eggs hatch, usually within a week or two after laying, the caterpillar emerges and the butterfly passes into the second phase of its life, the larval stage. Caterpillars come in all shapes and sizes, with their own special appetites. Given the proper food, they are fantastic eating machines. Parnassian caterpillars enjoy stonecrop, or sedum. This black swallowtail caterpillar is about 2 weeks old. It keeps to a strict diet of parsley, carrot, dill, and wild cow parsnip. The clouded sulfur caterpillar feeds on alfalfa and is fully grown in less than a month. The painted lady larva relishes the prickly leaves of thistles. The caterpillars that survive the rigors of their first days grow rapidly. As they eat and get fat, their skin stretches tighter and tighter. Eventually, the caterpillar bursts from its old skin into a roomier covering. Caterpillars shed their skins, or molt, 4 or 5 times before they're fully grown. They often eat their own cast-off skin. Finding food, however, is only part of the caterpillar's fight for survival. They can also become delicious meals for hungry enemies, including insects, birds, and mice. To fend them off, they have developed a variety of different strategies. For some species, like Milbert's tortoiseshell caterpillars, rhythmic movement in unison may ward off parasitic flies and other potential predators. Others, such as the solitary painted lady caterpillar, protect themselves within a silken chamber. These black swallowtail caterpillars defend themselves with unique foul-smelling horns that can be jabbed at intruders. Other species, like this Garita skipperling caterpillar, use camouflage to stay out of harm's way. Its color matches that of its food plant so well, it can be difficult to see, and so is less likely to be preyed upon. And some caterpillars, like this fritillary, feed at night and hide during the day to avoid danger. The caterpillar is extremely dependent on its habitat for its survival. When its environment is changed or destroyed, the caterpillar's food plants and camouflage are often destroyed too. Natural and man-made disasters, such as fires, can kill caterpillars by the thousands. And when caterpillars die, so do the butterflies they would have become. Insecticides sprayed to protect crops and forests also kill countless caterpillars. Yet in spite of these grave threats, some caterpillars are fortunate enough to endure and enter the 3rd phase of their development, the resting stage. Having gorged itself to the breaking point, the caterpillar splits its old skin for the final time and emerges as a pupa, or chrysalis. For this final molting, the chrysalis is anchored in a protected spot, usually to a twig or stem, a leaf or stone. At first it is soft, but gradually hardens into a protective shell-like exoskeleton. It develops a little each day. Most species are ready to hatch in about 10 days, although others, awaiting spring or the onset of the rains, may take weeks or months. Once the resting stage is completed, the healthy, non-parasitized pupa emerges in a burst of activity, ready to enter its final phase, adulthood. Within several minutes, the newly emerged butterfly pumps its soft wings to full size. In an hour or two, the wings are hardened and ready for flight. Each butterfly has 2 sets of wings. The top pair are called forewings, the bottom set, hind wings. The butterfly uses its wings to fly and to escape danger, to find food, to locate a mate, and to migrate. On some species, like this owl butterfly, markings on the wings resemble ominous eyes, which may frighten off attackers. Some wings help the butterfly hide. Butterfly wings get their color from the tiny scales of which they're made. Under a microscope, we can see that they're shingled. The adult butterfly's sensory organs, including the antennae or feelers, are on its head. The tip of each antenna is thickened and resembles a small knob or club. The antennae help the butterfly touch and smell. Butterfly eyes are multi-lensed and are particularly sensitive to colors and motion. The butterfly's tubular tongue, known as a proboscis, is used to take food. The proboscis can be uncoiled to suck nectar, plant juices, moisture, and other liquids. You might think of it as a portable straw used for drinking. Within the butterfly's body are muscles to move its wings, organs for breathing, and its reproductive system. The female's body stores developing eggs. Like other insects, a butterfly has 6 legs, making it well suited for clinging to plants and flowers. Butterflies may also crawl and walk. Because of its markings and its ability to fly, the adult butterfly is much better adapted for survival than when it is an egg or larva. Still, it is always vulnerable. Butterflies rely on their quickness to escape harm. Snared in a spider's web, this cabbage white appears doomed, but is able to escape. Luck ran out for this hapless sulfur, however. The swallowtail has fallen prey to a lizard. A well-camouflaged ambush bug caught this bronze copper when it tried to feed on goldenrods. The viceroy is a good example of a butterfly that is protected in a special way. Because it looks so much like the monarch, which when eaten tastes bad, birds generally avoid it. This adaptation is known as mimicry. The butterfly's most important task during its brief life is to find a mate. Some males court the lady of their choice with aggressive behavior, as seen here with this pair of checkered whites. In many cases, as with these monarchs, there are only slight differences between the appearance of each sex. In other cases, like this pair of Diana fritillaries, the difference is spectacular. It is the adult butterflies who survive the myriad threats they face that make the next generation possible. During mating, the male transfers sperm into the female, who stores it until she is ready to lay her eggs. Each egg is then fertilized as it is laid. Once her eggs are laid, a new life cycle begins for her species. This Sarah orange tip, like some other species, completes one life cycle a year. Throughout its range, it is single-brooded, meaning there is one flight each year, generally in spring. Other species, such as this red admiral, have 2, 3, or even 4 broods a year, reproducing throughout the warm weather. Multi-brooded species tend to fly throughout the summer. The individual lifespan of each adult butterfly is rather short. Usually a week or 2 represents old age. This ragged tiger swallowtail appears faded, worn, and tattered. She is no more than 20 days old. Some adult butterflies extend their lives through the winter by becoming dormant or hibernating. This mourning cloak is a hibernator who may live as long as 11 months. The monarch is a classic example of a butterfly that avoids cold weather by migrating to warmer climates for the winter. Each fall, millions of monarchs migrate south to Mexico and coastal California. It is the only North American butterfly species to have, each year, a regular and predictable migration to the same overwintering areas. Other butterflies, including common buckeyes, thrive during the winter in the warmer states of the South. When summer comes, they advance northward, only to perish with the cold when winter returns. The painted lady is another species that winters in the South. It moves north from Mexico and Arizona with the summer heat. Unpredictably, in some years there is a mysterious explosion of the painted lady population, and they come north in immense numbers. Although they can sometimes appear to be similar, butterflies are quite different from their closest relatives, the moths. Moths generally fly at night. Butterflies fly during the day. Moths rest with their wings spread out or rolled over their backs, but not closed, like most butterflies. And the feelers or antennae of moths are different. Some look like feathers. Each butterfly species has its own geographic comfort zone in which it is best suited to reproduce. This queen butterfly likes open, sunny places. In summer, you can expect to find the wide-ranging cabbage white throughout most of the United States and southern Canada. The Gulf fritillary is an example of a butterfly that prefers warm regions throughout the year, yet may breed or stray far northward during the hotter months. Within a butterfly's geographic range, each species prefers its own particular habitat. The pine white is a species found throughout the western mountain states, but usually only in coniferous pine forest habitats. Many species, including this striking regal fritillary, are found for the most part on prairies. The pretty Pima orange tip is one of the species that resides in deserts and arid habitats. Wetlands and swamps are home to other butterflies, including Acadian hair streaks. Each habitat not only attracts its own varieties of butterfly, but also specific plants, animals, and birds. Most of the butterflies featured in this program may be found along country roadsides and in gardens, parks, fields, meadows, and other open, sunny habitats. These are also the native North American species that enjoy the most extensive geographical ranges. In short, these are the butterflies you are most likely to see. The following is a gallery of 26 common butterflies. Each is numbered and illustrated for quick reference, identified with both its common and scientific name, and placed by size in one of the 4 major groupings. A second page contains useful additional information. Large butterflies measure 3.5 to 6.5 inches and include the swallowtails and milkweed butterflies. Swallowtails have tailed hind wings. Milkwood butterflies lack tails and are mostly orange with dark veins. Medium-sized butterflies measure from 2.5 to 3.5 inches and include fritillaries, tortoiseshells, anglewings, admirals, lady butterflies, and buckeyes. Most fritillaries show silver spots below. Tortoiseshells have camouflaged bark-like undersides. Anglewings are small to medium-sized, with orange and black combinations above and irregular, uneven wing edges. Admirals have lovely shades of bluish purple or orange and black. White admirals have a showy band. Lady butterflies are medium-sized to small, mostly with combinations of orange and black on top. Buckeyes have shades of brown and attractive eye spots on their fore and hind wings. Small butterflies measure from 1.5 to 2.5 inches. Satyrs and wood nymphs, whites, sulfurs, and crescents are included. Most satyrs and wood nymphs are brown. Whites are usually plain white on top. Common sulfurs are bright yellow or orange. Crescents are orange and black above. Tiny butterflies measure less than 1.5 inches. Blues, hair streaks, and skippers are included. The common blues are blue, purple, or violet. Most hair streaks have minute hind wing tails. Skippers range in size from tiny to small and usually sit with wings outstretched. Swallowtails. Swallowtails are often identified by their trembling wings when feeding. Hind-wing tails are one of their important characteristics. Swallowtails rank among the largest of native butterflies, some measuring more than 6 inches in wingspan. Tiger swallowtails are the best known of the native North American swallowtails. This is because they are large, colorful, and found almost everywhere. You can find 3 kinds of tiger swallowtails across the United States and southern Canada. All have black, tiger-like stripes on a yellow background. In the eastern United States, where they fly most of the summer, male tiger swallowtails are rich yellow above. Females may be yellow, but with patches of blue on each hind wing. Some females are black, without the usual yellow. They still show the blue hind wing patches. Dark females are never found in the West and rarely in Canada. If you live in the western states, you will usually see the western tiger swallowtail. Female westerns are always yellow. Look for western tiger swallowtails from May to July along riverbanks, mountain roadsides, parks, and gardens. The smaller Canadian tiger swallowtails are found across Alaska, Canada, and northern New England. In late May and June, you can find Canadian tigers in forested tracts and their openings. Male Canadian tigers also visit wet places, often in groups or mud puddle clubs. Females are yellow, never dark. All tiger swallowtail caterpillars look much the same, no matter which species they're to become. They gorge themselves on many kinds of trees and shrubs, including ash, wild cherry, yellow poplar, and aspen. Tiger swallowtails are well established across the continent, ranging from Florida and the Mexican border states to Alaska and Newfoundland. The black swallowtail is another common North American butterfly. Members of this species are generally smaller than tiger swallowtails. Males are banded with yellow spots. Females are blacker and their spots are smaller. The female's blue hindwing patches are excellent field marks. The orange area underneath is another good clue to this butterfly's identity. You'll find black swallowtails throughout the summer, alongside roads and within flowered fields, gardens, and sunny countrysides. Black swallowtail caterpillars enjoy Queen Anne's lace and cow parsnip in the wild, and parsley, dill, or carrot in gardens. Black swallowtails are widespread and common throughout the East, and are also found in the South through the Mexican and Central American highlands. Milkweed butterflies. Of the 3 New World milkweed butterfly species, the monarch is the most familiar and is readily found throughout its range. Caterpillars of all 3 species pass through their larval stages eating nothing but milkweeds. Its large size, rich golden orange coloration, and blackened veins make it hard to mistake this royal butterfly. Although similar in size to the swallowtails, it is never tailed. Migration, an instinct to relocate seasonal homes, is not limited to migratory birds. Monarchs head south each fall, sometimes flying thousands of miles to specific areas in Mexico and coastal California to escape the advancing cold weather. Once they reach the safety of their wintering quarters, many monarchs live for 6 months or more. They are one of the longest living adult butterflies. Eastern migrant monarchs begin their return in late winter and reach Texas in March and April. Their offspring colonize the north. There are several summer broods. By late summer, adults feed with enthusiasm, preparing for the long journey south. In the north, you will see these royal milkweed butterflies throughout the summer in open, sunny places where flowers grow. During the winter, they can be found in coastal California, southern Florida, Texas, Arizona, and Mexico. Fritillaries. Fritillaries, or silver spots as they are sometimes known, are a fascinating group of medium-sized butterflies. More than a dozen species are found in North America. Most have silvery spots and patches below, their best identifying mark. Smaller than swallowtails or the milkweed butterflies, fritillaries typically exhibit tawny orange on top, meshed with black. The impressive great spangled fritillary is one of the largest silver spots and certainly one of the most common. Scattered colonies inhabit the edges of scrubby wetland, country roadsides, overrun fields, and woodland glades. You'll best be able to study this rapid flyer when it pauses to nectar on wildflowers, including milkweeds, thistle, bergamot, and blazing star. The broad and immaculate area located here on the underside is an important key to identification. During the heat of the day, fresh, newly emerged males can often be found sipping from damp ground, gravel, and sandy roadways. July is the great spangled's best flight month. They are single-brooded throughout their range. The newborn caterpillars sleep through the winter, then grow to full size during the spring, feeding on violets. Great spangled fritillaries range across the northern half of the United States, notably in parts of the Appalachian and Rocky Mountains, and wherever violets grow. The Gulf fritillary is an attractive butterfly. It's bathed with rich coppery orange on top, sprinkled with dark spots and lines. The long metallic silvery spots it has beneath, which may glint when it's observed in flight, are the Gulf fritillary's best distinguishing feature. The Gulf fritillary relishes a variety of different habitats, provided they have an abundance of sunshine. Adults are swift flyers, but they slow down considerably when nectaring on lantana, their favorite flower. During mating, which can last for as long as an hour, the female positions herself above the male. Once fertilization is completed, the female lays her eggs on passion vines. The caterpillars normally require a month of feeding on passion vines before changing to chrysalids. Gulf fritillaries are abundant year-round in the Gulf states and those bordering Mexico. They become less common northward, where several summer generations may develop in July and August. The variegated fritillary is colored with an intricate network of orange-brown, tan, and black. Although it is a distant relative of both the great spangled and Gulf fritillaries, the variegated fritillary never shows silver spots beneath. The variegated is enchanted by all kinds of flowers, and adults will nectar briefly on each blossom they visit. You can find the variegated fritillary along roadsides, within overrun fields, by hedgerows, and in sunny clearings most everywhere. In the south, adults are active most of the year and can breed continuously. During spring and summer, variegateds repopulate the north, where they may generate as many as 2 or 3 broods between May and September. Caterpillars of the variegated fritillary will eat many different kinds of plants, including violets and garden pansies. Neither they nor their chrysalids are able to endure prolonged freezing weather. Variegated fritillaries are commonplace throughout the south for most of the year. They expand their range northward each summer, but are seldom as common there. Tortoise shells. Tortoise shells are medium-sized and among the longest living of our butterflies. They're found mostly in the cooler regions of the northern hemisphere, including Europe, as this postage stamp from Czechoslovakia attests. Their wings are angular along the edges, sometimes appearing to be almost jagged. Beneath, they resemble tree bark or dead leaves. The mourning cloak is the largest of the American tortoiseshells and probably the prettiest. When its wings are spread, you can see brilliant blue spots rimming its dull maroon interior. Mourning cloaks may live for as long as 10 to 11 months. They survive the winter by holing up under tree bark or in tree hollows. They resume activity in April or May with courting rituals, followed by the laying of eggs. Adults only occasionally visit flowers, preferring instead a diet of juices from rotting fruit, decaying matter, and damp spots. Look for mourning cloaks from spring to early fall in woodlands, orchards and parks, and along river and stream embankments. Their spiny caterpillars are gregarious and eat the leaves of willow, poplar, birch, and elm. Mourning cloaks range south from Alaska and Canada, inhabiting most of the United States except for the extreme south. Milbert's tortoiseshell is a delightful sight. The carrot-colored band along the outer edge of its wing gives away its identity. Milbert's is the smallest of our tortoiseshells, measuring only 2 inches across. Adult Milberts are more apt to visit flowers than our other tortoiseshells. Females lay large masses of eggs on nettles. The eggs hatch within a week and become a mass of hyperactive caterpillars that feed ravenously on their host for several weeks before changing into chrysalids. There are 2 Milbert's broods during the summer, the second hibernating until spring. Look for Milbert's tortoiseshell butterflies in swampy meadows or among flowers by roadsides. Milberts can be found across the cooler parts of the continent, especially in Canada and the northern border states. Anglewings. Anglewings, or commas, are small to medium-sized butterflies that prefer northern climates or mountainous regions. As a group, they are united by their distinctly angled wing margins. Their undersides are bark-like, sometimes etched with small pale marks. As a rule, anglewings are not attracted to flowers, but tend to spend their lives in or near forests. Question marks are our largest anglewing. Some measure up to 3 inches across. Like most of our other anglewings, the question mark has an orange and black pattern above with very uneven wing edges. Its name comes from the pair of silver spots beneath, which vaguely resembles a question sign. When fresh, the question mark shows violet-tipped tails, an attribute exclusive to this species. Question marks have 2 broods. The orange hindwing form migrates south for the winter. The dark hindwing form occurs in early summer. The question mark's caterpillar eats the leaves of nettles and elm. Look for question marks during warmer months in deciduous woodland parks and forest edges and along trails and roadsides. Found in the eastern half of the United States and adjoining Canadian provinces, question marks fly further south to survive the winter. Admirals. The beautiful medium-sized butterflies in this small group command instant attention. Most admirals shun flowers and habitually drink from wet spots. They generally open their wings when feeding or resting. Good places to see admirals are forest openings and river edges. The flashy white admiral may be identified by its striking white bands. It emerges in June and can most commonly be found along wooded roadsides where they gather on wet sand and gravel. In the southern part of their range, they have a second flight in August. The red-spotted purple is almost identical, but lacks the white band. Red-spotted purple feed on ripe fruit, dung, and moisture, rarely on flowers. Through most of the summer, you can find them along woodland roads, riverbanks, clearings, and hedgerows. Where its range overlaps with the more northern white admiral, hybrids blend and share features of both parents. In such cases, you may see a partial white band. The caterpillars of the white admiral and red-spotted purple greatly resemble each other and feed on willow, wild cherry, and poplar. The white admiral and red-spotted purple are Canadian and eastern species. Although the viceroy is an admiral, it doesn't look the part. In fact, viceroys look quite a bit like monarchs. The fact that birds avoid the bitter-tasting monarch confers upon the viceroy a considerable amount of protection. Viceroys will usually be found along streams and in open marshy areas. Look for them in June and August, when, unlike other admirals, they nectar at flowers. In the deep south and southwest, viceroys mimic the brown queen butterfly, not the monarch. The viceroy's caterpillars feed on the leaves of willows, cottonwoods, and aspens. The viceroy is found in most of the United States and southern Canada, except along the Pacific coast. Lady butterflies. Lady butterflies can be found all over the world and are featured on the postage stamps of many countries. All of the mainland North American species exhibit migratory behavior. All are also swift flyers who often pause at flowers. The painted lady is the most familiar of the 5 species found in the United States, Hawaii, and southern Canada. It is a well-known but unpredictable migrant, having been spotted in such remote areas as Iceland and Greenland. The painted lady is a permanent resident of only northern Mexico and nearby parts of the Southwest. In some years, you may find large swarms northward, only to have them disappear in succeeding years. Painted ladies have a row of 5 small marginal spots on the underside of the hind wing. They're also known as the thistle butterfly because of the caterpillar's diet. The painted lady can be found in almost any open habitat, from lowland desert to mountaintop. It is a familiar sight over most of North America and has recently colonized the Hawaiian Islands. The American painted lady was recognized as a New World species as early as 1770, when America was still a colony of the British Empire. The American painted lady looks very much like the painted lady. 2 circles on the underside of its hind wing are its primary identifying mark. Adults enjoy open, dry areas, including roadsides, old fields, and clearings. The caterpillars live singly in webs and eat the leaves of everlastings and pussy toads, plants that often grow in sandy, dry habitats. The West Coast lady greatly resembles its eastern relative, but can be distinguished by its blue hindwing spots. It lives in the far west, although it extends its range eastward during the late summer. American painted ladies range over most of the United States and southern Canada, but are only able to survive the winter in the south. West Coast ladies are generally found in the mountain and desert states of the West. The unique red admiral is an easy butterfly to identify. Its best marks are its red-orange bars. From the side, its intricate wing markings are somber and dark. Red admirals are attracted to flowers. Adults appear to be wary and cautious, but frequently settle. They also visit wet gravel and other damp places. The red admiral is migratory and is abundant in some years. Even in lean years, however, it can usually be spotted. Its caterpillars feed on the leaves of various nettles. The red admiral can be found all over the United States and southern Canada, as well as Eurasia and several oceanic islands. Buckeyes. Buckeyes are close relatives of lady butterflies. Though well represented in the tropics, only 3 species inhabit the United States and Canada. All buckeye species are adorned above with lovely eye-like spots. The common buckeye can best be identified by its 3 large peacock-like eye spots. Common buckeyes have an alert, active patrolling flight and are difficult to observe closely. They frequently visit flowers, usually after brief flights. Common buckeyes favor hot, open, sunny places, especially those that have bare ground that is good for basking. The common buckeye's spiny caterpillars feed on the leaves and flowers of snapdragon, toadflax, and gaillardia, among others. Buckeyes are resident in warm southern areas and along the California coast. During the summer, they colonize more northern areas, although they are usually uncommon in the northern states. Satyrs and wood nymphs. Satyrs and wood nymphs are usually brown and often have eye spots. They can be found worldwide and a name for the mythical inhabitants of woodlands and forests. The group's typical brown color and small eye spots are seen in this little wood satyr. Ringlets, another member of the satyr group, are small butterflies that thrive in open grassy marshes, hillsides, and meadows. Arctics like this and alpines make their homes in cooler northern and mountainous areas. The common wood nymph takes on different geographic forms in different climates. This yellow-banded variety may be found in the eastern states from June to August. The larger, unbanded dark form can be found in the north and west to the Pacific. Adults may nectar at flowers or settle on the ground, gravel, or low weeds, where they feed on bird droppings, sap, and rotting fruit. The caterpillars feed on all kinds of grasses. You may come across common wood nymphs in undeveloped grassy places, such as forest clearings, dry fields, marshes, and thickets. In its different forms, the wood nymph can be found from coast to coast throughout much of the United States and southern Canada. Whites. Whites are a common, readily observed butterfly family found throughout the world. Most whites show combinations of white with darker markings. They are enchanted with flowers. Some, like the Sarah orange tip, may present some red, yellow, or orange. In the United States, the cabbage whites are the most familiar of the group. Males show a single spot on the forewing. They often gather, when newly emerged, at wet places. Females have 2 spots on the forewing. Look for adults in city gardens and country fields, along roadsides, and in other sunny places. They can be found almost continuously from spring to fall. Cabbage whites are an accidental introduction to the Western Hemisphere. They arrived here on ships from Europe during the Civil War. Once introduced, the cabbage white quickly established itself, and by the beginning of the 20th century was found from coast to coast. The caterpillars feed often and voraciously on cabbage and related plants, such as broccoli and mustard. Cabbage whites are resident over much of the United States and southern Canada, although they are absent from the deepest south and are rare in most arid areas. Sulfurs. Sulfurs are found throughout the world. All are yellow or orange. Because most adult sulfurs rest or feed with their wings closed, we show them posed with open wings. Most sulfurs are small or medium-sized. The clouded sulfur is the most abundant wide-ranging yellow butterfly in North America. Its common name is derived from the female of the species, whose dark edges are clouded with pale patches. Males have solid black borders and lack the pale areas. Albino females are relatively common in most sulfur species. They are usually white, although sometimes show pink. Look for sulfurs in clover and alfalfa fields and open weedy meadows. Clouded sulfurs are usually one of the first butterflies to appear in spring, and as winter approaches, one of the last to leave. Male clouded sulfurs are frequently found puddling, their wings held at a right angle to the ground. Their caterpillars feed on clovers, alfalfa, and other legumes. The clouded sulfur can be found all over the continental United States, as well as much of Canada and Alaska. When feeding or resting, orange sulfurs closely resemble clouded sulfurs. They are distinguished by the rich orange shading, most apparent during flight, from which they get their name. Some females are also orange, with blotchy wing margins. Other females are white, but fly in the company of their orange sisters. Adults sometimes show a mix of both orange and yellow. Look for this common butterfly in gardens, dry meadows, alfalfa fields, and along sunny roadsides. Their green caterpillars are fond of alfalfa, but also eat various clovers. In the United States, the orange sulfur has a similar range to the clouded sulfur, but is not found as far north in Canada. Crescents. Crescents are among the most common of our butterflies. Most are a mixture of orange and brown above. Though it's often hard to see, look for the crescent-shaped mark on the edge of their hind wing below. Crescents are always small. The pearl crescent is the most widespread and common of the family. Adults perch on or near the ground and usually flex their wings rhythmically. Their caterpillars are gregarious and feed on the leaves of asters. Pearl crescents have several flights from spring through the fall. They abound in wet or dry meadows, roadsides, gardens, and stream margins. The northern crescent greatly resembles the pearl crescent, its southern relative. The northern crescent is generally slightly larger, somewhat more orange above. It enjoys one principal flight during June and July. With the exception of the Pacific states, the pearl crescent and the northern crescent inhabit almost all of temperate North America. Blues. Blues are comprised of many hundreds of species all over the world. Most are tiny, and most have significant blue areas on their wings. In many places, spring azures arrive at the very end of winter and appear as living jewels on the last of the melting snow. The distinctive way they rub their wings is an identifying trait. Males are powdery blue. Females are edged with black. In the east, the spring azure flies through much of the summer, but has only a single flight in the far north and western mountains. Adults frequent the edge of mixed forests, swampy glades and meadows, and along uncut roads. One of the caterpillar's favorite foods is the dogwood, but they will eat the leaves and blossoms of many other plants as well. The spring azure lives most everywhere on the continent, with the exception of the Great Plains. Another common blue is the eastern-tailed blue. The key to its identification is the tiny hair-like extension of the hind wing. But to see it, you have to get a good close view. Eastern-tailed blues fly close to the ground and will settle either there or on low-lying weeds. Look for adults in sunny stretches, especially along roadsides with clovers and trefoils, which are both favored by their caterpillars. The western-tailed blue is nearly identical to the eastern, but is usually a little larger and with fewer black markings beneath. These two species have extreme ranges and occupy much of Alaska, Canada, the United States, and Central America. Hair streaks. There are several dozen hair streak species native to the United States and Canada. Almost all are tiny-sized. Hair streaks are related to the blues. Both rub their hind wings together. Most hair streaks have tiny hair-like extensions on their hind wings. Some, like this eastern pine elfin, don't have tails. The coral hair streak, like most in its family, keeps its wings closed when nectaring or resting. Its best identification mark is its tiny coral red spots, although they can only be seen at close range. In July, their best flight month, look for single adults here and there in clearings, roadsides, and sunny canyons. Although a coral hair streak's flight is dizzying, adults sit quietly when nectaring at milkweeds and other favorite roadside flowers. The caterpillar is slug-shaped and feeds upon the buds and fruit of wild cherry, plum trees, and chokecherry. Coral hair streaks are widely distributed and are found almost everywhere in the United States and southern Canada. The gray hair streak is named for obvious reasons. Orange spots can be found on its otherwise plain gray upper surfaces. An orange patch beneath is set off by its otherwise plain color. Gray hair streaks can usually be found near flowers, either wild or cultivated, and in gardens and other sunny places. The caterpillar, which has a grub-like appearance, consumes the buds and flowers of many plants, including beans, hops, and cotton. Gray hair streaks do not survive freezing winters. They're most common in the south and must recolonize more northern areas each summer. Gray hair streaks have the widest range of the hair streaks found in the United States and can be found over most of the country and in portions of southern Canada. They also range south into Central America. Skippers. Although skippers are butterflies, they have much in common with moths. They're found throughout the world. They're usually small or tiny, similar in size to the blues and hair streaks. Unlike true butterflies, their antennae are bent, with a small extension at the tip. Their darting, skipping flight is almost impossible to follow with the naked eye. The silver-spotted skipper's name derives from the silver patch it has underneath. Adults nectar avidly at a wide variety of flowers. They're also fond of basking. Silver-spotted skippers frequent patchy habitats, including woodland edges, gardens, trails, and roadsides. Its attractive caterpillar eats leaves of locust, wisteria, and other legumes. The silver-spotted skipper ranges over much of the United States and can be found in some parts of southern Canada. Common checkered skippers are easy to identify. Their tiny size and pleasing black and white checkered pattern are telltale marks. They prefer open areas where they can nectar on low-growing flowers. Their caterpillars feed on the leaves of hollyhock and other mallows. Common checkered skippers are plentiful and widespread in the south and central states, but scatter further to the north, where they must recolonize each year. Raising butterflies from caterpillars. One of the best ways to observe the marvelous life story of the butterfly is to raise one from a caterpillar. We'll use the monarch to demonstrate, but any of the common species featured in this tape will do just fine. First, you need to find a caterpillar. Search the leaves and blossoms of the milkweed plant, which is the monarch's larval food plant. With patience and a keen eye, you should find the pretty striped caterpillar. Once you've found it, place it in its new home, which can be any container that lets in light and air. Jars, bottles, cans, and even empty fish tanks covered with cheesecloth make good quarters. You might lay paper toweling on the bottom to absorb moisture. Remember, caterpillars are eating machines, so give them plenty of fresh, clean leaves daily. And be a good housekeeper. Your caterpillar's home will need a daily cleaning. Make sure that they have ample room for crawling and eating. Don't overcrowd them. Keep your infant butterflies in a cool, shaded place, indoors. You can watch them grow from baby caterpillars like these that are a day or two old to ones like these, which are about 15 days old and nearly 2 inches long. A fully grown caterpillar stops eating and suspends itself upside down. Once it attaches itself, do not touch or disturb it. After a day or two, it will change into a green and gold-trimmed chrysalis. The resting stage lasts for about 10 days, during which it grows darker and darker. When you can see the monarch's wings inside the chrysalis, you know it's ready to emerge. The hatch is the exciting payoff for all the care you've given your caterpillar. It is now a butterfly. Once its wings are hardened, release it into the wild. Raising a butterfly is the best way to learn the secrets of butterflies and to see their life cycle up close. And if you take proper care, you'll also be improving another generation's chances for survival. In the past, one of the ways people expressed their interest in butterflies was to begin a butterfly collection, like this one. Scientists and teachers often use collections in their work to learn more about the lives of butterflies or to pass what they know along to others. We encourage you to learn all you can about butterflies, but because many are threatened by environmental and habitat pressures, The National Audubon Society strongly recommends that you not collect live specimens. Some butterflies, like the Schaus swallowtail, are even protected by law. If you'd like to study butterflies in a collection, contact your local natural history museum or university. There you can look closely without causing any harm. These beautiful creatures live and are best appreciated in the wild, where they can coexist with the natural world of which they're a part. A wise person once suggested, take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints. We couldn't agree more.
If you enjoyed Audubon Society's Butterflies for Beginners, look for these other fine videos from the National Audubon Society and Mastervision. Audubon Society's Butterfly Gardening's cultivation tips and plant gallery will help you create a beautiful home for butterflies in your backyard. Audubon Society's video guide to butterflies of North America is a comprehensive 5-volume guide to all the butterflies found in the United States and Canada. And see, hear, and identify 505 bird species in Audubon Society's Video Guide to Birds of North America. 5 volumes of beautiful moving footage, bird calls, range maps, and informative narration.